family and my fans. This is your host on Beautiful Mind, Adeyinka Adeomi. And today we are asking people about their genotype, how important it is for you to know before you get into any relationship. Does it really matter at all? Please stay tuned. Do not go anywhere. Hello, Blessing.
Hello.
How are you, Blessing?
I'm alright, thank you.
You know your genotype?
Yes, I do.
And when did you find out?
I found out just before I got married,
Oh.
which was a bit, I would say a bit late, but thank God I'm AA, so which makes it okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So did you fall in love before you find out? Or
Yes, actually. Yes, I was already in courtship with my husband, my husband now. Before I found out about my genotype and before I knew about his as well.
Okay.
So they were already dating and about to get married before we found out.
Oh, good.
But thank God we're both AA, so which makes it okay.
And do you think it is important for people
I think
to
it's
know?
very important considering the sickle cell anemia, because we know what happens when an AS and an AS gets married. You know, you have the chances of having babies with sickle cell anemia, which is quite challenging to take care of those children. We know what they go through, all the pain, you have to be in the hospital all the time. So it's really, really important to know your genotype before you fall in love and before you get to the altar.
Thank you very much for this. Stay blessed, please.
Thank
you. Right, I have got Henry here with me, and Henry is a married man, and I'm going to ask you a question, Henry. Do you know your genotype?
No, I don't remember it.
You don't remember it, but did you know it before you get married?
Yes, I do.
Did you know your spouse before you got married?
Yes.
Did you have to do it before you get into a relationship, or you just...
We had to find out because medically we wanted to be sure that she's not on the wrong side of the blood type that would affect the offspring in the long term. So one of us had to go in and find out what are blood types and how that affects our future children.
Was that before you fell in love, or that was before you realized that, oh, I'm going to enter a serious relationship with her?
Yeah, it's at the stage where I found out that this is the woman, and so we had to agree. We have to start a family together. We have to be sure that medically we don't have any deficiency.
And if the result happened to be like both of you are AS or AS and SS, will you have still gone ahead and married?
Tough question. I to be honest, I don't think I would still go ahead because it's much easier to say, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get married and have children that will have maybe their sickle cell and it will lead to like this thing. But then you have to also think of, are you ready for the responsibility of, because it's not just giving birth to them. You have to be sure that if you know they're going to have these issues, you have to stand by her. She's willing to go through it, and then the kids. But I think the reason why they have the blood test is so that they can show if you guys even match to start with, so that you are not just creating or giving birth to, issues that are I don't know the right word.
So you don't think love conquers all?
Love does, but there should be caution, because if these kids grow up and they get to find out that you knew before they were giving birth to have these issues, then there might be a problem with the relationship. They might be saying things like, why didn't you just let it go? Why do you have to bring me?
My pretty girl, she's just got married. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Do you know your blood type?
I do.
And when did you know? How did you find out?
I've always known.
Did your husband have to do it before you go into the relationship, or you just...
Yes, he had to do it. It was required by the church, but even if we weren't asked to do it, we're going to do it anyways, because I think it's too much of a risk not to know.
Okay.
And to have, I think the risk of and the consequences of having to bring a sickle cell person into the world kind of outweighs the love that was before that. So I think it will bring a lot of strain in the family, so it's just important to know.
Oh, thank you very much. So you think love doesn't conquer? Do you know your blood genotype before you got married?
I actually do know my genotype before I got married. Or even I knew it, but it wasn't really important to me because I'm of the AS. and my wife is an AS as well. So we just took the risk, to be honest, because I knew I'm AS, my wife's AS. It wasn't really an important thing then when we got married. So we just took the risk that maybe we could be really lucky. And thank God we've been lucky so far. Yeah, we never have any SS child. And we've been
God, that was a big risk.
Yes, it was a risk. Yeah.
So how did you choose your wife? Was it God that chose it for you?
To be honest, we met in church really, so I wouldn't say God spoke to me about my wife, but we met in church, and then back home they just thought maybe once you meet someone in church, it's probably going to be God's chosen. So we met in church and we just started dating, and we were fine dating until we realized our genotype, and we just took the risk because we couldn't go back anymore. Because I think after dating for so long, all the church members knew us, everybody knew us. We're just thinking to now go back and say, oh, we're not compatible because of our genotype. We're too much of a disappointment to our family. And back home then you can't really disappoint your parents. So we just took the risk. We actually knew I was AS, she was AS. We just took the risk and I think God will take control.
Okay, I like that. I know you're living on risk, but by any chance, if you have a child with sickle cell anemia, are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you prepared? Your mind, your mentally, with your wife, are you prepared? Are you ready?
I think we weren't prepared then, because I think the reason why we even end up taking the risk, one of my siblings is actually an SS. So I knew what it takes to live with an SS child. So,
Okay.
but unfortunately he died later. But I knew what the risk was. I knew what mistake our parents made and what mistake we were making. But we only trusted in God really, that with God on our side, and we will be fine. It was a great risk. I wouldn't advise anybody to take the risk.
I wasn't aware of his status. It wasn't an issue for us at the time we started dating, and even when we got serious. But I kind of know that I was AA and I was O positive. So based on me, I knew I could marry anybody. So I wasn't bothered with asking. But obviously, before we actually got into a marriage contract or covenant, it's something we needed to know. You just need to know everything about a partner before you
This
go into
Wednesday
it.
on Beautiful Mind, we are talking about genotype,
Okay.
sickle cell anemia, and we want to find out from people, why is it important for you to know your genotype before you go into any relationship at all? Did you find out your husband's genotype before you got married, or it was afterwards?
Before I got married to my husband, I was in a relationship. And the guy was actually dodging it. He wouldn't want me to know what his genotype was. But I insisted that I needed to know. Well, we ended the relationship because he didn't want to come true to me. He didn't want to really tell me what his genotype was. Coming to my husband, this is a very funny one. I didn't know his genotype when we got married. And then when I got pregnant, because we were trying for years, and then when I eventually got, pregnant, my midwife said, "Do you know your genotype?" I said, "I'm AS." So, "What's your husband?" Then he dawned on me. I said,
You didn't find out.
"Oh my God, what have I done?" But I asked him, I think I asked him before we got married. And he said, "Look at me. Do I look like I'm AS?"
I didn't think it was important for me because I was already in a relationship, and then now that I was actually talking about marriage, then my dad came to me and then he said, "Oh, you need to go for tests."
Oh, thank you very much for coming for this short interview. Do you know your genotype?
Oh yes, I do. I do.
When did you find out?
Well, I found out quite early because way back in school, right from high school, you just have to do some medical examination before you get into school and stuff like that. And I think I was able to know what my genotype was.
So before you got married, did you know your spouse or your wife to be?
Oh yes, I did. I had to, because my genotype was such that I needed to know that what my wife should be, before getting married. Yeah.
Will it have stopped you if you find out that she wasn't what you wanted?
Apparently yes, yeah, because from my medical background, yeah, it's absolutely important to have couples with compatible genotype, because of some of the adverse event that could happen if these are not taken care of early enough.
So you think love doesn't conquer all?
I want to believe that people grow in love, but before that growth comes, they need to be sure that the physiology is right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.